The Converted Man here. So, I just finished listening to this video by Bible Truth on 101 Does God Exist? The answer he gives is a contradiction. It does, and it doesn't exist. Not sure how that works, but okay. So then he says, if you believe God exists, then for you it does. If you believe God doesn't exist, then for you it doesn't. Okay, but does it exist in reality, or are we just talking about inside our brains? Because if I believe I have $1 million, that doesn't mean I actually have $1 million. And if I don't believe I have $100 and I do have $100, that doesn't mean I don't have $100, because my beliefs don't affect external reality at all. They only affect internal reality. I don't really know if a human can force themselves to believe in something if they try hard enough, because he does say that God supposedly has given us a choice, that we're made in God's image. Of course, how he knows this, who knows? He's going to do that in another video. Oh, good. Anyway, I'm going to guess it's something to do with the Bible, because his YouTuber name is Bible Truth. Okay, so how do I have a choice in the matter? Do you, Bible Truth, have a choice in regards to thinking that I exist? If you're watching this video, and if you respond to it, which if you did respond to it, you would get a few views from doing so, so that might be a good idea, just saying. Anyways, if you really think that this idea that we have a choice is true, then stop believing in me right this very second. Think that I don't exist. Believe fully that I don't exist. Can you do it? Probably not. Maybe after a few years you could. I mean, I really don't know if people's brains are able to force themselves to believe or not believe in this way. I don't know. I doubt it, but it's possible, I suppose. But instantly, no. You have to work hard to believe or not believe. But when confronted with the evidence that I exist, to not believe that I exist is absurd. Here's the thing with God. First of all, define God. That's the first thing you need to do. What is it? How do you know it's a thing? Where is it? What's it made out of? How does it function? What is it like? And how do you know any of this? Do you just think that this is true? Do you want this to be true? As you said in your own video, if you believe, then you're going to do what you can to make it true. And if you don't believe, then maybe you'll go and look for things that make it untrue. That's called confirmation bias. The thing is, as a skeptic, I don't have confirmation bias, except in that I want to be able to confirm things using empirical evidence or a repeatable test, and if I can't do that, then I at least want some logically coherent argument, which you didn't provide here because you start off with the contradiction. God can't exist and not exist simultaneously, unless you're just talking about inside our brain. I mean, one day I could believe God exists, and the next day I could stop believing that God exists, I guess, and then the next day I could go back to believing that God exists again. I don't know. But again, our brains can do wondrous things, our brains can do amazing things, but I would say it's really hard, if not impossible, for somebody to just not believe that I exist. So if God existed in the same way that I exist, that we could verify it empirically, if we could test it empirically, then everyone would know, I would think, that God existed. Again, we're going to assume some things about God. Assume that this is a worldwide phenomenon. Like, if God was equal to the amount of evidence that we have for the moon, then no one would doubt that God existed. There would be enough evidence, and we wouldn't have to believe it, because we don't need to believe that the moon exists. We know that the moon exists. Now, some people believe that the moon is a hologram, and that's kind of a weird belief, but that is a belief, not a thing that they know. They might really strongly believe it, but that doesn't make it true, nor does it make it real. So, Bible truth, can you stop believing that I exist? You don't really have a choice in the matter, do you? If you're really honest with yourself, do you really have a choice to believe that I exist or not? Or is it just you don't have a choice? You know that I exist and you don't have a choice in that. You can't just make me not exist by believing hard enough. If you're honest with the idea of God, you would realize that people don't necessarily have any choice in the matter. God can be anything or nothing at all. We humans define and make up different God concepts all the time. I could make up one right now if I wanted to. And you then have the choice to accept it or reject it. The question then becomes, how do we accept or reject things in a way that protects us from con artists and liars and manipulators? If I say I have a car for sale and you want to buy a car, are you going to do zero research on that car, or are you going to do a lot of research on that car? Or are you going to go mid-range and do a little bit of research on the car? Or are you just going to take my word for it? It's up to you, I suppose, but I would rather do as much research as possible on the car. And then if I said, well, you can't see the car, why not? Now I'm going to be a little bit put off by that. Why can't I see it? No, you're just going to have to trust me. And the car can fly, and it has infinite gas, and it can do anything, and it loves you. It's ridiculous, isn't it? After a while, I mean, anyone can propose something that is ludicrous. Should you believe it or not believe it? Do you really have a choice about believing it or not? If it is ludicrous enough, I don't know that you do have a choice in believing or not believing it. But maybe you're a person that wants to believe in the absurd, and, well, you believe in God, so maybe that's true. Now, I don't believe in not God. I lack belief in God, but I don't know what God is in the first place. I don't even know if you could, or if anyone could actually define what God is. I don't even know that we would be able to recognize God if it was a thing. Who knows? For all I know, this flower on the wall could be God. Who knows? Who could say? How could we ever know? If this thing isn't going to tell me that it's God, and then, well, it might, it just did. It told me, but only I could hear it. So this flower is God, and it loves you. What kind of proof is that? Seriously, what kind of proof is that? That's no proof. Well, I know it's true, but I want you to know it's true. Great. Okay, flower, can you prove it to anyone else? No. See, you just have to believe that it's God really, really hard. And you have a choice. Either you can believe it's God or not. Come on. Come on. Do better. Seriously. Do better. Now, I'll also address the second video in this, because this is a 2-for-1 Friday, I guess. I also watched this video about my thoughts about Does God Exist, uploaded by YouTuber BB Dave R, and he said yes, because of Fibonacci's spiral. Fibonacci's spiral. Good job, you've made me speechless. Just no. Appeal to the absurd, I guess. Pattern seeking. Fibonacci spiral, therefore God. I got got nothing on that one. So your job, my viewers, is to go do something with that guy. But back to the other video. At least I can deal with Bible truth, because eventually he's going to start talking about the Bible. And if he actually was concerned with the truth that's in the Bible, it would be like 2 videos, like a handful of kings and a handful of locations that actually can be verified as being true. That might be an interesting couple of videos to watch, but then that's it. You're done. That's the only truth in there that you can actually verify. So we're done after a few, maybe it would take 3 or 4 videos, I'm not sure. But if you're not concerned with the truth, then I will expect to see the Bible is true, because it says it's true and God exists and He loves you, and if you don't believe it, you're screwed, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe you have a more universal theology where everybody's fine no matter what they believe. But bottom line is, how are we going to decide what is true or possibly true and what isn't? Are we just going to go on what someone says? Hey, this flower is God. You can believe it or not. It's up to you. You have a choice. Or are we going to demand some sort of proof for my claim? I would hope that you demand proof when someone makes a claim. If you don't, well, I've got some nice swampland to sell you.